I challenge anybody to just open up my book, start on page 2. You'll be on page 65 in about 35 seconds because it puts you into a trance. And it was designed that way. It was written in a way that I speak to bring people there physically to where the book is. And you're going to be like, I can connect with that. And that's part of the art.
Writing with authors, we are back with someone who's an incredibly motivational guy. He's even a Yankee Ranger fan like me, so we were talking sports behind the scenes. But today, we're bringing on the author of Average Sucks. Michael, thank you for joining me.
It's an honor to be here. And I got to tell you, from even our conversation prior to this today, dude, you and I this is gonna be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's always nice to link up with someone who's ready to inspire our audience. He wrote this book. There's a lot to come from it. So again, welcome to Writing with Authors. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and this show is a show created for all readers, writers, aspiring writers, everyone in between. I hope to add a book to your queue and some great advice along the way. And this show is brought to you by Coming Alive Podcast Production. Head to comingalivepodcastproduction.com to start your journey today. But Michael, today's about you. What motivated you to write this book?
It's funny you bring that up because I think the last thing in the world I ever wish upon anybody is to write a book, right? Because the process, you laugh, but the process you go through, I was talking with my publisher about it at the time, and just the archetype, the identity that most people I identified as I'll just tell you this real fast. As someone that didn't really do good in school, but I really wanted to get a book done. So I had like two battles going on. I suck at school. I'm bad at writing, but I want to write a book. So what really motivated me to get my message physically written in a form was I knew that people wanted a book. I knew you needed a book to get done. I knew that I had a message that I've shared for over 20 years with people all around the world deserved to be in a written form. So it was a transformation of Michael's life to actually write it. And it has been amazing watching what had occurred. But I will tell you, if there's anyone out there struggling or challenged while you're doing it, I get you. You're transforming into who you're capable of being, but stick with the process. It's amazing. So I wanted to get my word out there in a different format.
And you're doing just that. I love how you highlighted the challenges. It's not as easy as some may perceive. What do you think the hardest part was for you across this writing journey?
I think it was getting over myself. So I'll give you the quick story here. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm the original ADD generation. They invented that with us, right? And they didn't even have Adderall prior to us as kids. And I say that because I never did that great in school. So I was identified as a kid that wasn't good at school. I went under the hypnosis of all my teachers and my parents that you're not that great of a student. There's other things for you, blah, blah, which made me a great business owner, right? Which is amazing. So and I didn't want to ask for help. So I remember sitting at my publisher's house. Tucker Max at the time helped me write my book. I don't know if you know Tucker.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
we wrote it in his living room, and he's like, "What kind of book do you want? Do you want one that makes you look cool, or one people actually freaking read?" So he's helping me get the book out of me, and I'm like, "Let's write one people read." He goes, "That's a good step," and I wouldn't let people help me with it. And it wasn't until 7 years into the process, a year into actually working with a company to get the book published, that I turned to my wife and I said, "Listen, this isn't fun." She goes, "Who says it was supposed to be?" And she goes, "We just got to get it done." And I turned to her and said, "Will you give me help?" 3 days later, the book's off and publishing. She took something that was 97% done, adjusted a couple things, 55,000 copies sold later, self-published. Very happy about that. It's a story in itself when the book was originally going to come out, but that was the biggest breakthrough that I had was it's okay to ask for help. The hardest book to write is your first one, and once you identify as an author, it gets easy from there.
Amazing advice can certainly resonate. My first book, I teetered back and forth for way too long, and it's nice that you highlight asking for help. We're all on this journey alone, but we need support. We need some help, and we can't be great at everything. We are often blinded by our own light at times where we see what we want to see, we hear what we want to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Who would you say the target reader of this book is?
I would say so. I wrote it for me, meaning like it was almost like therapy for myself. I couldn't figure out like what stopped me in my life. It's for people that are doing well, that want to do better, that for some reason they're doing the things, they're listening to the podcast, they're reading the books, they want to do better. Mainly, I work with entrepreneurs or people that want to do better in the world. It could be a mom that's trying to figure out yoga, it could be a dad who wants to get better at pickleball or tennis. It could be anybody who, for some reason, cannot figure out why they're stopping short of what they're capable of. So it's actually for people already doing pretty good proportionally in the world, like that middle class, middle of the road person that's like, what the hell?
Mhm.
Why am I not playing to the level I'm capable when I know I can do better?
Absolutely love that. We often get stuck, and if we can't find a way out, we stay stuck. So I certainly see the value in this book. You mentioned it gets easier. Do you have other books out there we could talk about?
I don't, but I know that if I have a couple that I'm working on right now. One is called how to market to yourself, which means how
Okay.
to market yourself to yourself, which is like a lot of us want how to market to others, but how do we sell ourselves on ourselves? And another one I'm not going to bring up right now because the title's so good that we're just going to leave it be.
All right.
Um, and then another thing I'm working on called the person of influence, and it's how to be an influential person in life. So I know that if I push go on those, I will get that done without any AI, without any major
Yep.
challenges. I would say 6 to 8 weeks, I'll have it off to first editing because I understand the process now was the breakthrough for me.
And you touched on something great there. AI, as a ghostwriter, I've ghostwritten maybe 8 or 9 books, not quite 10. You can't use AI because it doesn't sound like a person. I don't care what anyone says. If someone gives me a chat GPT thing, you can absolutely say, well, maybe not absolutely, but I'm so involved with writing where you can see, oh, that word doesn't make sense there. It's a synonym, but far, far out. So thank you for highlighting that. You also have this book connected with your business, and you just previewed a few. You got to promise me you'll come back on the show once those books are out and ready to
Yes.
go. What advice can you give to some people out there who want to do what you're doing, have a book for their business?
So you're saying they already have a book or they need to have a book?
They want to write a book to connect with their business some way, somehow, and you did a great job at that, obviously.
So I'm primarily an educator and a trainer. That's my primary thing. I own an institute here in North Scottsdale. I actually bought what used to be a temple. I have a beautiful building. I've got an event space and I do events for 20 since 2003. We've worked with a few 100,000 people all over the world doing events, seminars, all kinds of stuff, transformational work. It's been amazing. I've had three other events today that we've done up to this point by the time we're recording this. And what's interesting about it is if you've got a message that matters, there's a reader that it would make a difference. So I know there are people that are very high level that have gotten my book that I might have thought like, why would they want to read this? Like it's very basic, my book, but a book is a great business card, they say. A book is an incredible way for you to validate you're serious about what it is you do. So like a lot of times they say like a college degree may or may not matter, but just the fact that you finish something for 4 or 5 years, when you get a book done, I got mine made in a very nice way with the hardback and everything. You don't have to do that. But when you have a book, it shows you're very serious about what it is that you do. And it's very important. So, how I'd recommend if someone is a coach or a trainer or a speaker or like they want to share it is, I think the most important thing is to really I believe you probably have 40 books in you, and I think we just need to pick one. And what I mean by that is pick a topic. You'd be amazed how fast it is to write 200 pages on a topic. Pick a topic, extend it out, break it more because people don't read a book to take a seminar. They read a book to understand a simple idea.
Couldn't have said it better. And thank you for the motivation there, because I was going to ask for some writing advice for someone who's getting ready to write a book, finding themselves stuck in the beginning. What is something that got you through that hurdle?
Yeah, not writing. I think I'm never gonna listen. My brain, I process about 10,000 words a second. So I sit there with a keyboard. I strapped up to the keyboard or a pen. My hand can't write quick enough. I do everything auditory. I speak it. So I record and I use rev.com. I'm sure there's a million companies you can use, but I record right into my phone into rev.com. You might even have a sponsor that you use for recording. And if you do, you could say the name or whatever if you do. But I like having to speak the book because when I speak it, I then transcribe it and it keeps the tone. It's good for my editor to use. It could say, what did you mean by this? So I would say understand your modality. If you're really great at training with your words, do not ever become a writer physically with typing. You will not process kinesthetically as fast as you could speak auditorily. So I'm nuclear visual with the way I speak, and I'm from New Jersey. I talk real fast. I can't process that quick on a keyboard. So the second I got a device that would record and transcribe, book came out of me.
Game changer. Everyone, that should be motivation. I often talk, we're constricted to a rigid learning style as people. We're auditory or we're writers or reader. Thank you for sharing that. Before we get your contact information, before we find out where to find the book, for everyone out there right now who likes what they heard and they're inspired by learning a little more about your business, you teased a little bit. Let's talk about that because he will be on that entrepreneur show, and I'd love to give a little bit of a preview.
What would you like to know? Because I do a variety of things, and like, what would you love to know? Because I can gladly take you down a 20 something year, 25, 26 year journey.
Well, we'll save the journey for that entrepreneur show, but let's talk more about the companies you're involved with and who you serve best.
So we work mainly with we love working with entrepreneurs. Anybody with an entrepreneurial mindset. Again, they may be an author, doesn't have a book yet, but they got an entrepreneurial mindset. They may be someone that owns a gym, they may be a lawyer, a doctor. We love working with people that love capitalism. That's one thing that we love. We're big on capitalism. We're big working with entrepreneurs. And my background is language and communication. So we talk about how words impact our psychology and the drugs inside of our mind. So we work with people on how they use language to sell, how they use language to sell themselves on things, how we build our confidence through language. So we've got a plethora of clients we work with, but the biggest thing is we invented a subject matter called human interaction technology. It's how human beings interact with each other and how our words change the psychology of other people quickly. So before you write a book, it's very powerful to get around something that can really induce people. Like when you read the first, I challenge anybody to open up my book, start on page 2, you'll be on page 65 in about 35 seconds because it puts you into a trance. And it was designed that way. It was written in a way that I speak to bring people there physically to where the book is. And you're going to be like, I can connect with that. And that's part of the art. We want to teach people how to connect. I'm using the book for a connection, but my business is really about human beings being able to build better relationships with each other through their language.
Thank you for sharing all that. That certainly has me ready to record this next episode. I can't wait to do that when this one
Fun.
comes out. Everyone, he'll be in the queue. But again, Michael, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with our community of writers here on Writing with Authors. Where can we find your book? Where can we find more about you?
I'm available online, michaelbernoff.com. You can go anywhere books are sold, as we'd say, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, anything you can find my book. Most people get it on Amazon. You can go to averagesucks.com. You can get it through me. You get a few extra bonuses getting it through us, but pretty much anywhere you can get a book. Our audio book will be up here pretty soon too. I did hold back on that because I wanted to do it in a special way, but that'll be up probably by the time this recording's out, but definitely get the physical book. And for those of you that want to learn a little more about influence, right before this, my team put something cool together. So if you want to send a text message to 202 759 4210, you'll even love this too, Vince. 202 text the word influence, and I'm going to send you 3 4 days of some really cool influential stuff you can use with your kids, with your family, with yourself. It is like ninja stuff. You're going to love it. So influence to 202 759 4210.
Thank you for sharing that. Very generous offer. All writers and readers out there, thank you again for tuning in. My name is Vincent A. Lancy. I'm online on all social media at Vincent A. Lancy, and my website is vincentalancy.com. It was a joy to host another episode with an incredible writer. Michael, thank you so much once again.
Thank you. I appreciate that.